I sing of Cornwall, it's one way to begin, to tell the story of the men of copper, fish and tin. From the sea that's all around us to way below the ground, the memory of these mighty men is gathered all around. So let's hear it for Trelawney, may his army never die. Let's hear it for Trevithick with his engine steaming by. Let's hear it for the farmers and for the fishermen. Let's hear it for the miners who we hope will mine again. Oh, from the engine houses lay scattered round Cornwall to the wide coastal landscape sculpted in the China clay. From the harbours here at Newlyn, at Portreath and at Loo, the lighthouse on the Bullfrog proves what Cornish men can do. So let's hear it for Trelawney, may his army never die. Let's hear it for Trevithick with his engine steaming by. Let's hear it for the farmers and for the fishermen. Let's hear it for the miners who we hope will mine again. Cornish past is mighty, it was built by mighty men. And as Cornish men we yearn for the time to come again. Or do we let our mining and our fishing round us fall? Not if we stick together in our motto, one and all. So let's hear it for Trelawney, may his army never die. Let's hear it for Trevithick with his engine steaming by. Let's hear it for the farmers and for the fishermen. Let's hear it for the miners who we hope will mine again. Now when you cross the Tamar into this promised land, there's one thing to remember, one thing to understand, that Cornwall's not a county just sighted in the west, that Cornwall is a country, the land we love the best. So let's hear it for Trelawney, may his army never die. Let's hear it for Trevithick with his engine steaming by. Let's hear it for the farmers and for the fishermen. Let's hear it for the miners who we hope will mine again. Now Brantford he was quite a lad and liked his bit of skirt, and Granny she was all about and nothing loved to flirt. And when I asked her where they met and how they came to wed, she split the gaff and made me laugh, for this is what she said. It happened after chapel take, it was a lovely night. The boys and girls had formed a ring and the moon was shining bright. Each girl would touch the boy she loved, and he would give her chase. And when he caught her on the run, would kiss her in the face. Now Brantford he was in the ring, and I was passing by. I poked him in the back and then pretended I was shy. I covered up my face and so he kissed me on the nose. Then later me home, and that's just how it was. We courted near the steeple where the rhododendrons blew, and there amongst the pretty flowers he taught me how to slew. But that was many years ago, and now we're old and grey. And though I loved thee dearly then, I love thee more today. And though I love thee dearly then, I love thee more today. I never thought before how much my country belongs to me, till I had gone many miles from my home by the sea. Edges aflame with ferns, little white farm at the foot of the card, you belong to me. Cornwall, the land I love, kindred strong, this is where I belong, in the land I love. When I return to home, people will stop and they'll say to me, hello my dear, around protecting from storm and tempest, wind and wave. Thy sons go forth, God's hands directing, to seek, to rescue, and to save. His chart and compass guide us onward, and bring us to eternal rest. God bless our land, God bless our home. May one and all on earth be blessed.
'Twas all due to the revival. There was some great revival going on in our little chapel, special services every night for the week. Place was packed, sitting up in the windows like string of onions they was, and a handsome bit of singing. Father and me was there every night, and you had get there early to get a good seat. Richard Henry was on the door handing out books. Already it was a different feeling. Everybody was speaking to each other that hadn't spoke for years. There was two sisters that lived apart that hadn't opened their mouth to each other for 20 years. One was in bed sick, but the other had been to the meetings and thought now's the time to show a changed spirit. So she visited her sister and went to her bedside saying how sorry she was her dear sister was so ill. "'Tis some good and kind of 'ee to come and see me," was the reply, "but mind if I get better, everything must go back same as he was for." Jan and Near, who was always the first in the pub soon as he was open, hadn't been near the place for a week. Up in the front seat, he was leading the singing with his missus sitting alongside of him. For the revival, she said he was never home. She almost forgot what he looked like. And old Tamsy, who'd been a bedlier since the chapel had been built, and nearly everybody had forgot, now had callers every day with flowers and something to eat. She had sent for the doctor because she made herself sick eating so much. They said she cleared a whole figgy pudding. Now Mrs. James, who'd live up Churchdown, went in Mrs. Treglown's next door and asked, "Haven't we been down the chapel yet and heard the new preacher? He's some handsome. Glasson, he'd do it good. I've been going to chapel for years. You haven't done me no harm." I can't do it, because Friday I'd have bathed them all. Well, what's to be done, I will do. So get us ready and I'll be in 7 o'clock. Sure enough, 7 o'clock, in comes Mrs. James, clean apron under her arm, and off goes Mrs. Treglown with the remark, "First night I've been out for 2 years. See again." About 10 o'clock she come home, singing as she come up the garden path. As she opened the door, she seen all the children was put up bed, supper laid on the table, kettle singing on the slab. Well, this is handsome. All work done, and I've had some handsome time. How did he get on with the children? Well, I bathed them all and put them in bed, but I had some job with that ginger one. Ginger one? I haven't got no ginger one. Yes, you have. Come up with no shy. When they got upstairs and the culprit was pointed out, Mrs. Treglown said, "My lord, you bath and put feather bed too."
I had a dream the other night, the funniest dream of all. I dreamt that I was kissing you behind the garden wall, and she said, "Little Lize, I love you, honey, little Lize, I love you. I love you in the springtime and the fall, honey, honey, honey. you, honey, little Lize, I love you. I love you the best of honey, 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 honey. Oh, tell me, do, who is your turtle dove? Oh, tell me, honey, tell me, do, who is the one you love? And she said, little Lize, I love you, honey, little Lize, I love you. I love you in the springtime and the fall. Honey, 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 little Lize, I love you, honey, little Lize, I love you. I love you the best of honey, 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 honey. I took my honey home last night beneath the spreading pine. I placed my arms around her waist and pressed her lips to mine. And she said, little Lize, I love you, honey, little Lize, I love you. I love you in the springtime and the fall. Honey, 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 little Lize, I love you, honey, little Lize, I love you. I love you the best of honey, 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 honey. Oh, kiss me, honey, kiss me, do. You are my turtle dove. Oh, kiss me, honey, kiss me, do. You are the one I love. And she said, little Lize, I love you, honey, little Lize, I love you. I love you in the springtime and the fall. Honey, 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 little Lize, I love you, honey, little Lize, I love you. I love you the best of honey, 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 honey.
I went to call on my best girl. Her bulldog flew at me and bit me by the old back porch, right by the maple tree.
And she said, little Lize, I love you, honey, little Lize, I love you. I love you in the springtime and the fall. Honey, 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 little Lize, I love you, honey, little Lize, I love you. I love you the best of honey, 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 honey. It was not you that I did see behind the garden wall. It was my wife a-looking at me. She looked so big and tall. And she said, little Lize, I love you, honey, little Lize, I love you. I love you in the springtime and the fall. Honey, 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 little Lize, I love you, honey, little Lize, I love you. I love you the best of honey, 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 honey.
On a cold winter's night, with a storm at its height, a lifeboat answered the call. As they pitched and they tossed, till we thought they were lost, as we watched from the harbour wall. Though the night was pitch black, there was no turning back, for someone was waiting out there. But each volunteer had to live with his fear, as they joined in a silent prayer to carry us home, home, home from the sea. Angels of mercy, answer our plea, and carry us home. as they battled their way past the mouth of the bay. It was blowing like never before. As they gallantly fought, every one of them thought of loved ones back on the shore. Then a flicker of light, and they knew they were right. There she was on the crest of a wave. She's an old fishing boat, and she's barely afloat. Please God, there are souls we can save and carry us home,
home, home from the sea. Angels of mercy, answer our plea and carry us home, home, home from the sea. Carry us safely home from the sea.
And back in the town, in a street that runs down to the sea and the harbour wall, they had gathered in pairs at the foot of the stairs to wait for the radio call. Then just before dawn, when all hope was gone, came a hush and a faraway sound. 'Twas the coxswain, he roared, all survivors on board, thank God, and we're homeward bound to carry them home,
home, home from the sea. Angels of mercy, answer our plea and carry them home, home, home from the sea. Carry them safely home from the sea. Home, home, home from the sea. Angels of mercy, answer our plea and carry them home, home, home from the sea. Carry them safely home from the sea. He's the lily of the valley, oh my Lord. He's the lily of the valley, oh my Lord.
King Jesus in the chariot rides,
Oh my Lord.
with 4 white horses side by side.
Oh my Lord. He's the lily of the valley, oh my Lord. You can take Willie when you die. Rich and poor will be alike by and by. Though you wealthy be from birth, you'll have just your length in earth, for you can take Willie when you die. Oh no, 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 fine, no, fine, for you can take when you die. Now you can take Willie when you die. It matters not however hard you try. You came in the world without, and that's just how you go out. For you can take Willie when you die. Oh no.
Me, I'm down Cobbler Shop. My second pair of best boots won't tapping, said Father. Well, you better get some water in before you go. You know, people had to go out and fetch water, didn't they, in those days? Oh, I can't stay to stop and do that when I come home. Cobbler Shop was filled with men, all sitting around the old stove. They used to gather to tell yarns, and all the news of the village was heard. During the war, they used to call it the War Office. What's best? Asked Father as they made room for him near the fire. I was just saying, said the cobbler, I went up to Joe Poglaze's maid's wedding. 'Twas some grand, plenty to eat and drink, and poor old Joe had to propose a toast to Granny. He was going round for days repeating, here's to the best years of my life, spent in the arms of another man's wife, my mother. Because he got some awful memory. When the time arrived, Joe got up and said, here's to the best years of my life, spending the arms of another man's wife, but who the woman was, I forgot. That's a good one, said Jan. Did anybody see a tramp going down along this afternoon? Yes, called in here to light up his pipe. My missus said he called in down home. Some sorry she was to see him, all cold and his clothes all hanging on him. She gave him cup tea and a piece of heavy cake. Well, that reminds me of another story I should have read about somebody making cake. And the woman said, "He's nothing like making cake for cleaning your hands when they're dirty." That isn't in this story. Anyhow, back to the tramp. To help him on a bit, she told him the woman next door had a job that would suit him. Only had to cut up a bit firewood. "Thank you very much," said the tramp. "That's some good of you. Because if you didn't tell me that, I should have walked bang right into that." Think about it, think about it. "Is my boots mended, please?" said Maid Janie from up Tall Carn. "Not yet," said the cobbler. "I'll bring them up when they're done. Shut the door when you go out." "Her old man had some fright last week. Did he hear about it?" "No, well, I'll tell him. Now, he'd a dearly loved drop beer." Well, perhaps shouldn't I be saying that in your perhaps? No, I don't know. "Now, he'd a dearly loved drop beer. And every Saturday night, he'd go up through. His missus is always vexed, because she'd say if he can do without it all the rest of the week, he needn't go Saturday. 'Tis the only bit of comfort I got," said he, "and I'm going." How to stop him, she didn't know. But at last she thought of a plan. She knew he was a bit frayed and couldn't see very well in the dark, so she put on a white sheet and waited inside the gates of Troon Cemetery. Last year, and coming up the road singing, "Going up Camberhill, coming down." Just as he got opposite the gate, she sprang out and said, "Do we know who I am?" "No, I don't," he said, shaking with fear. "I'm the devil, come out to warn ye." "First time I ever seed ye," said he, "but shake hands, because I married your sister."
It's a working man I am, and I've been down underground, and I pray to God if ever I see the star, or for any length of time, I can hold it in my mind. I never again will go down underground. At the age of 16 years, we quarried all those seas. We vowed ne'er to see another war. In the dark recess of the mine, you aged before your time, and the tin dust hangs heavy in your lungs. It's a working man I am, and I've been down underground, and I pray to God if ever I see the star, or for any length of time, I can hold it in my mind. I never again will go down underground. At the age of 64, oh, they greet you at the door, and tenderly take you by the hand through the dark recess of the mind, which takes you back in time, and it tells you all the hardships that we had. It's a working man I am, and I've been down underground, and I pray to God if ever I see the star, or
Lize Gwinion, Lan Y Mor, mein Harriadine, in Cysgirnos a Codir Bore. Upon the shore, red roses glowing. Upon the shore, white lilies growing. Upon the shore, my love, my only. Are his nights long? Are his days lonely? Upon the shore, through wind and weather, a stone where once we talked together has now white lilies near it showing, and shields of fragrant rosemary growing. Upon the shore, blue stones abounding. Upon the shore, fine youth surrounding. But of all joys I there discover, upon the shore I have a lover. Kind friends and companions, come join me in rhyme, and lift up your voices in chorus with mine. Come lift up your voices, all grief to refrain, for we may or might never all meet here again. Here's a health to the last that I love so well. For health and for beauty no one can excel. She smiles on my countenance and sits on my knee, for there's no one in this wide world as happy as me. Here's a health to the company and likewise my last. Let's all drink together, all out of one glass. Let's all drink together, or grieve to refrain, for we may or might never all meet here again. My ship lies at anchor, all ready to sail. Here's a health to a journey without any gale. And if ever we meet by land or by sea, I will always remember your kindness to me. I have heard that old saying, I know it is true. My love, she's as fair as the bright morning dew. I have heard that old saying, I know you have too. So kind friends and companions, I bid you adieu. Here's a health to the company and likewise my last. Let's all drink together, all out of one glass. Let's all drink together, or grieve to refrain, for we may or might never all meet here again.
chimney just the same. And we pushed the damper in, and we pulled the damper out, and the smoke went up the chimney just the same. And the smoke went up the chimney, and the smoke went up the chimney, and the smoke went up the chimney, and the smoke went up the chimney just the same.
Father, Mother, Richard Henry and Uncle Matty was sitting in the front room looking out the window. "See who's going down long," said Mother. "Boy Willie, I haven't seen he for some time." Now everybody round know Boy Willie. But should you be a stranger in the village, he would be described in various ways. His age, well, the older people would tell you about 40. Very deceiving, because he still had a boy's face and always wore a boy's cap. Some would point to their heads and say, "Up and left in the oven a bit longer." Many of his quaint sayings were still related with great amusement, yet there was often a world of wisdom behind them. Listen to this. 20 years ago, I was crazy to get married, and now I still think the same way. I thought you'd miss that one, but you were there. "I've often told the story," said Matty, "how a local farmer, having a friend with him and enjoying a walk, met Boy Willie down in the roadway fields. Thinking to have a bit of fun, the farmer offered to bet Boy Willie 1 shilling he couldn't break the clone picture he was carrying. 'Yes, I can, but I aren't going to till you give me the shilling.' On receiving the coin and putting them in his pocket, he smashed the picture to pieces. The farmer and his friend roared with laughing. 'What are you going to do now, Boy Willie? The picture's scat up.' 'I aren't going to do nothing, it was your missus's picture.' Don't laugh quite that loud, you don't want to. Thank you for the sport, I appreciate that. I blame the mother and father. 'Tis how he was brought up, never allowed to grow up fitting. 'Twas a great fright to us all when we found out he was getting married," said Mother. "It caused the old people some worry too. Afraid they hadn't brought him up proper. His ma, as he used to call her, said, 'Here's our boy, now going out in life, and what have we told him about the world? Especially now he's getting married.'" You're ahead of me, aren't you? Yes. "I can see," said Da, as the boy called him, "there is things he ought to be told. Suppose you tell him tonight. I aren't much good at talking about things like that." "No," said Ma, "you're his father and 'tis your place." So it was agreed that Da should explain things that very evening. Last Boy Willie came in from courting and said, "Good night." No, he didn't want no supper and he was going bed. "Hang on a minute," said Da. "I got something I want to tell you." At this point, Ma made an excuse to clear out. "Sit down," said Da. "Now, Ma and me have been talking things over, and we feel there's certain things you ought to be told now you're leaving home and going out in life on your own and getting married." "Well, what is it?" said Boy Willie. "Pull up your chair a bit closer," said Father, and whispered in his ear. "He won't Father Christmas at all, it's me and Mother that filled up your stocking."
There are those who once were young and strong, now aged, bent and grey, who did the same in days of yore as youngsters do today, idly sitting in the sunshine, lads together, big and small, such has always been the case on Doble's wall. Doble's wall, Doble's wall, Doble's wall, Doble's wall. There's no spot in all the world like Doble's wall. There are those in foreign lands today who once were with us here, who wander back in memory to scenes they hold so dear. But someday we hope to meet them, meet together one and all, as we did in days gone by on Doble's wall. Doble's wall, Doble's wall, Doble's wall, Doble's wall. There's no spot in all the world like Doble's wall. There are those who once were in our midst, who ne'er again repeat the summer songs we used to sing in harmony so sweet. But their names we often mention as the twilight shadows fall, as we gather as a whole on Doble's wall. Doble's wall, Doble's wall, Doble's wall, Doble's wall. There's no spot in all the world like Doble's wall. Like Doble's wall. Grandfather's clock was too tall for the shelf, so it stood 90 years on the floor. It was taller by half than the old man himself, though it weighed not a pennyweight more. It was bought on the moor on the day that he was born, and was always his pleasure and pride. But it's locked in door, short in door, never to go again when the old man died. 90 years without slumbering, tick-tock, tick-tock, his life's seconds numbering, tick-tock, tick-tock, it's locked in door, short in door, never to go again when the old man died. In watching his head his spirit was blooming for flight, that his hour for departure had come. Still the clock kept the time with a soft and muffled chime, as we silently stood by his side. But it stopped in door, showing door, never to go again when the old man died. 90 years without slumbering, tick-tock, tick-tock, his life seconds numbering, tick-tock, tick-tock, it stopped in door, showing door, never to go again when the old man died. Watch the swell of the sea throw a boat up to the sky, as it hunts down shoals of mackerel for starry gazy pie. Don't forget below the sea, singing down, 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 another seam is waiting, singing down, 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 for underneath the surface, singing down, 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 lies life unseen. 30 fathoms down, beyond the light of day, pulled by the swelling rollers, the kelp weeds billow and sway. Don't forget below the sea, singing down, 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 another seam is waiting, singing down, 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 for underneath the surface, singing down, 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 lies life unseen. If you put your ear to the seabed and listen perfectly still, you'll hear the sound of Cornish men break granite with hammer and drill. Don't forget below the sea, singing down, 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 another seam is waiting, singing down, 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 for underneath the surface, singing down, 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 lies life unseen.
Cousin Jack has gone away to seek his fortune on distant shore. All he knew and loved are here, but he will return no more.
Cousin Jack has gone away to seek his fortune on distant shore. All he knew and loved are here, but he will return no more. Shafts are still, men are gone, leaving a land in deep despair, a land whose heart is torn away, a soul far beyond repair. What is left for them to do, leaving their home and move away, leaving a culture that kept them strong, much more than they can say. Cousin Jack has gone away to seek his fortune on distant shore. All he knew and loved are here, but he will return no more. Across the sea they have gone, working beneath a burning sun, taking their skills to foreign lands. A new life has just begun. They were men of iron will, forged in the hearth of Cornish fire,
he knew the courage would never tire.
Cousin Jack has gone away to seek his fortune on distant shore. Oh, he knew and loved our here, but he will return no more.
In the lands where they have gone, far away from all they knew, as the years went passing by, their love of Cornwall grew. To our land the children come, seeing the home their fathers knew. Back to the land they still call home, the promise refreshed anew.
Cousin Jack is home again to seek the source of his Cornish soul. He is back amongst his own, his spirit once more made whole. He is back amongst his own, his spirit once more made whole.
"How you been so long, mother?" said Feather. "I should think you bought all that was down Lizzie Ann's shop." "Well, I haven't bought much, but I had some handsome time. 'Twas better than going to the magic lantern show. I had a chair in behind some boxes, 'cause I told Lizzie Ann I wasn't in no hurry. First in come a woman, stranger in these parts, I never seen her afore, walked up to the counter and asked for a pair of gents' socks and a drawing pin. Now, says I to myself, Lizzie Ann is sure to ask what she want a drawing pin for. Tell you the truth, I was dagging to know too, and so was everybody else in the shop. But no, she asked for the size, wrapped them up, and stuck a drawing pin in the parcel. The woman paid, and she was walking to the door, and she turned round and said, "S'pose you'd all like to know what I wanted a drawing pin for?" "No," said Lizzie Ann, when she was a liar. "It don't concern me." "Well," said the stranger, "you might understand when I tell you my husband got a wooden leg." "Hark to this," said Lizzie Ann as she read a note. "Please send down by bus, as I am too busy to come up, as I am whitewashing the kitchen, as my mother-in-law is coming to stay, and have you got any rat poison?" Then in walked Maid Janie, exactly like her mother she is, all fastened up with safety pins, and asked for another roll of wallpaper, like she had last week, with the remark that he'd take more now as Feather's going to paper the wall herself. Well, Lizzie Ann was out back. Mrs. James said, "I'd like a night dress long enough so you can wrap your feet up in it. I don't hold lot water bottles. I'd have sent James up first to warm the bed up. If he don't do that, what use is it?" Well, here comes boy Willie, now for a bit of fun. And as he walked into the shop, she said to him, "How many oranges do it take to make half a dozen?" "All depend if they're small ones or big ones." Everybody laughed at this. "Well," said Lizzie Ann, "take out 6, the largest you can find, and 6 small ones, then count them and see what's the difference." After a while, boy Willie picked out 6 large and 6 small ones. "Count them and tell me what's the difference." "Well, you're right, there isn't no difference at all," he said as he put the large one in his pocket. "I come in for some oranges, but I didn't know you was going to let me pick out 6 of the best." "I'd a dearly like to hear about boy Willie," said Richard Enter. "You can't fool he." "I was down the shop one day for a bit bacca," said Feather, "when he come in to change 6 pennies for a 6-penny piece. She took one out of the till and give to him, and he put the 6 pennies on the counter and was walking out. When he got to the door, she shouted to him, 'Here, you've been and left your change.' He went back, picked up the 6 pennies, said thank you, and walked out." "Poor chap," said Lizzie Ann. "He don't know enough to last an overnight, he don't. He's a fool, and know it, says I, but it's a sad case when anybody's a fool and don't know it. Time for tea, says mother. Here's Uncle Matty coming up along."